John, Gratcast 103,
Welcome.
back outside, the sequel.
Yeah.
we're covering up for the bugs this time.
Yeah.
The Gratcast studio is still under construction. It should be ready to unveil next week. Up until then, we're gonna huff it outside for one more week. John, we got to do our small talk intro banter. And up until about 10 minutes ago, I was feeling pretty down in the dumps and disappointed, man. My Buffalo Bills came out, shit the bed all over the
Are
field.
you seriously going to turn this right at me?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
turn
buddy.
it right back at me.
And here we were. They were we were the worst team in the league. Our quarterback situation's a mess. And then the Detroit Lions played Monday Night Football.
I don't even know if it's over yet.
Oh, it's been over, John.
So at the end of the third quarter, down 48-17 or 10 or something stupid.
To Sam Darnold.
Come on.
You're gonna make everybody start getting on the Sam Darnold train, and they're gonna actually convince themselves this guy's good.
And then
all because of the Lions.
And then they'll realize he's not good, and the Lions are just a horrible team, and they just made him look good.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. So I don't know if you've noticed, but we've got a rundown on the show now. A little list of all the stuff we're going to talk about. Dude, John, so much shit happened in Hollywood this week that we got to talk about. We didn't even have enough room to put all the rundowns on here. So we're in the intro right now, but we can't highlight the intro because we can only have up to 9 things here, and we got 10 things to talk about. So the intro got bumped.
It happens. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Until technology gets better and we actually get settled in our studio, this is how it'll have to be for the moment.
This isn't a real great intro anyway, so no need to highlight it. John, you got anything else besides the Lions?
Well, I mean, of course, my friend came and visited from Michigan, which you guys already know.
How'd that go?
It was okay. He came and he visited. It was kind of, gave a quick little 2 week, like, hey, I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. I was like, okay, that's okay. I'll get some
Somebody had
time
to get
off
out of
work.
Dodge.
Yeah. So I'm only there for...
Felt the heat coming around the corner.
It's like I'm only there for 4 days. He came, he had some show he wanted to see. It's some local...
Yeah, man, you did something that I would never do for anybody. I wouldn't do that for Andrea or anyone else in this world.
Do what?
If you're going to a show with a long-ass line, I'm not going with you if I'm not going to that show, standing in that long-ass line, and then leaving after you get into your show.
Well, the way it worked...
You're out of your mind.
Well, the way it worked, though, is he wanted to see Burbank. So we went down to Burbank. We ate at, like, the Wood Ranch Grill. We were there. And then the El Portal Theater is just south of the North Hollywood Metro. So we took the Uber to the El Portal, and then when I was done standing in line, I just walked to the North Hollywood or the Universal.
Key part when we were done standing in line. There was no need for you to stand in line.
We were
like,
shooting the breeze.
Here's your line, bro. I'm gonna head on back.
But I mean, it was
It was hot this weekend too.
It was hot, dude. I'm telling you.
You're such a sucker. I say
Why?
this every
He's a
week,
friend.
John.
What are you talking
But
about?
You are such a beta.
Oh,
You're the perfect sidekick, John.
You just love laying that down.
Because you're the perfect sidekick.
Just wait till the alpha
Oh,
steps.
I'm gonna start calling you Robin.
Just wait. Oh my God! Just wait till the alpha steps out, and you'll be like, "Where'd this come from, dude?"
I'll call you Dick, but everyone will think I'm calling you a Dick, but it's actually Dick. This is Robin's actual first name.
Is that her first name?
Yeah, Robin, Batman and Robin.
Oh, Robin! I thought you meant Robin Quivers from the Howard Stern
Batman
show.
and Robin,
Sidekick. Yeah, that's great. Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I'm
your little sidekick, buddy.
I wasn't thinking of a female radio sidekick.
Yeah. Hey.
Silence!
I was giving you a superhero sidekick, John. So at the end of the day, you're still
No sidekicks here.
rocking the spandex with me.
We're all equal. We're all equals here.
All right, John.
Sidekicks or no?
Are you up to speed on all the stuff that happened in Hollywood this week?
Maybe not all of it, but I've definitely seen I've seen a few of them. I definitely saw a few articles, which were very interesting.
Because we've got a commercial break coming up here very soon, and it's not a long commercial break, so I don't want to have to get you up to speed.
No, you don't have to.
All this different stuff.
I already got some notes.
already.
I already got a couple notes.
Oh boy, you're more prepared than I am here. I'm gonna have to.
A little.
I'll pretend I got some notes.
A little more.
All right, we're gonna hit our first commercial break here. As always, Payday is one of the Gratcast sponsors here. They've got their new tournament subscriptions. Pay one price a month, enter in all sorts of different tournaments and prizes. A little later on the show, we're going to be talking about one of the Fortnite tournaments me and John are going to be entering in, and you can get a prize for knocking us out.
If you can knock us out, that
Yep.
is.
Until then, check out this shit on Payday. commercial that was one of the least smoothest things that Gratcast has ever been associated with. So, slipping right on to the next thing. Hopefully, our little overlay here should already be on the first thing, which is the Oscar. The popular Oscar. I'm all over the place here because I got something floating in the air, hitting me in the face. The cost of doing business outside, John.
Yeah.
So the first thing that happened in this crazy week in Hollywood was there was, and then apparently there isn't a popular Oscar. What do you have to say about this, John?
Well, we watch the show Black Mirrors, and I always talk about how I don't like the idea that if someone is considered more popular than somebody else, they get a preference. And in that one episode, of course, it always points me to it. That's what it feels like. Now, it's a little different. It's like, oh, we voted for this movie. It's the popular. I don't like the idea of having a popular award, the most popular. Maybe by sales. Maybe I don't. I just think it sends the wrong image. It sends the wrong message. Because once we start doing it, they do it in the award shows. Well, let's start doing it in schools, and let's start doing it, here and there. And now it's going to be just like one of those episodes where the higher your star rating is, the better treatment you get. And why should that be?
Well, the first elephant in the room is most of these awards are all bullshit anyway, and it's all sorts of backdoor lobbying and deal trading.
But people who watch it are going to be affected by what they see.
Sure, but so I'm not sure where the contradiction is here, John. But I feel hypocrisy written all over this.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm gonna rant a little bit here, and I'm probably gonna find where the hypocrisy is.
Of course.
So there's two lines of thinking here that I see with this popular Oscar. The reason they first went and had it is because they're acknowledging that, the stuffy movies are usually the ones that win the award seasons every year, while all of the ones that are huge box office successes and that usually get no award representation. So the popular Oscar, my guess was to wink wink reward the best box office success, so the tentpole movies, the summer blockbusters could start winning some hardware.
That might not be critically acclaimed, but they sold a lot of tickets.
Yeah. Because that's been the argument the last couple of years is, how come none of these great superhero movies are ever nominated for an Oscar or an award or anything like that? Because they've got a lot of heart and soul and story into them and all of that, but the Oscars is too stuffy. They're never going to have a superhero win Best Picture or win any of these things. Even though, arguably, in some recent years, that probably the argument could have been made.
Maybe, yeah.
So I feel like the popular Oscar is an attempt to pander to that a little bit, so they could have, we've got something that the superhero movies can win now. So because again, even for the Oscars, that's a huge chunk of audience and attention that they're losing out on their show and the demographic that they can hit. Because if there's no superhero movies or any of these type of movies up for awards, then all the fans and supporters of those movies are not going to.
Not going to what?
Yeah. We're going to push through the airplanes no matter what happened. And it's like the loudest one possible had to go by and push the limit of what I was going to try and push through and talk.
And the length, too.
Yeah. There'll be no loud planes all day long. The second we start recording, here comes a parade of World War II jets.
And I ignored it as best I could. I had to watch you.
So the popular Oscar, I feel like, is an effort to bring in the mainstream audience that watches all of these superhero movies and stuff.
Sure.
But I also feel there's a part of this that's also trying to find a backdoor way to pander to appearing more diverse. Because the Oscars so white and all this other stuff that they've gotten slammed for in recent years. Mm-hmm. They've been criticized because, again, these stuffy movies that are always up for the awards are usually all white casts, all white above the line production teams, all of this stuff, and they're trying to clean up their image and make it look a little better.
Right.
So I don't know. The whole thing feels like pandering to me because if you have to have a popular award, that means that the movies that are winning aren't popular, and you're acknowledging that by having a popular award. So, I don't know. There's got to be a better system here than this closed-door, you scratch my back, I scratch your back voting system that's going to ultimately bring us to a Terrell Owens type scenario where somebody's going to be so offended and pissed off that they didn't get nominated for an award this time around that they're going to snuff them the next time around. And I don't know. That's coming. I see it coming, John.
Anytime, they've already made changes, I guess. The article had also said it wasn't just that. I guess they're making it shorter. as well, so it's only 3 hours.
Every year they say it's going to be
But I have
shorter.
no idea. I don't watch them, obviously. I was just seeing the article, and it was actually pretty interesting. But again, I just, even though there are some good things that can come from this, or maybe the idea is that there are good things, I just think it's the wrong road to go down. I genuinely do. Maybe create another. It doesn't need the popularity award, but make it something else.
If you can't have one award that's just popular award.
Right.
If you're going to go that route, then every single category should be open for vote, and you go to Oscars.com a month before, and you vote on all of them like that. And you roll that way.
Well, I know, like for the Oscars, there are certain writers that vote for that. Now, with I didn't see what the popularity award would be. Is it people would go to a website and vote, and that's the idea that the public votes, or somebody else votes? For
I didn't see the actual.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Criteria for deciding. I'm
Right.
guessing they didn't get that far in the decision process before they backtracked, because too many people like freaked out and bitched about it or whatever, so they immediately backtracked and said they're trying to say, well, it was in the middle of award season, and so people already had movies made, so it wasn't fair to them to change the awards now. And my answer to that is, at some point, if you're going to change the awards, you're going to have to do that in a cycle that movies have already come out.
Yeah.
And if you're making your movie specifically targeting some sort of Oscar award, screw you and your movie. Screw you and your movie. You should automatically be disqualified from winning the award.
Yeah.
Make the movie you want to make. If you win an award for it, great. But don't, well, if they knew the awards were different, they would make their movies different. That should not be what's happening.
No.
So,
Definitely not.
all right, let's move on from the award show to bad behavior at awards parties, or at least finally vindication and redemption for Terry Crews. Other big news this week, Terry Crews settled his suit against William Morris, and the agent or partner of William Morris that had groped him at a party, and
Which was actually Adam Venett. Oops, should I not use names?
no, not like that. They settled it. He admitted it. He had to resign from his position for it.
I love this. I genuinely love this. One, I never knew Terry Crews got groped. I didn't know until just like this week. And
Really?
I just didn't know. I know. It doesn't matter. So I found out.
Stick your head up out of the sand once in a while,
Yeah, well,
John.
yeah,
Look
definitely.
around. Look around.
Oh, I do
Back in
that.
that Uber pool,
When
check
I do,
some news.
When I do, no, I'm talking to people when I'm in the pool. I can't go into the
Talk
phone.
about what's going on in the world.
I like talking about other things. Anyway, so it was interesting because I don't know how he was groped, and I don't want to know how he was groped because I was just cupped in the front, right? That was pretty much it.
Balls.
That was pretty much
Yeah,
it.
Typical jackass dude wants to come. Oh, look at this tall big guy. How big are your balls?
Yeah, but here's what I like about it. Not that he got groped, because it does happen to men
That's
too.
not what you liked
It
about it?
actually happens to men too, like legit. It does happen. Here's a prime example. But what I like is what the settlement was for. Do you know?
Oh yeah.
It was
absolutely.
for $350,000, which was for the cost of his attorneys.
Legal fees.
Legal fees. And that's it as far as the money is concerned. And he wanted accountability.
Yep.
Which is what I put here. Accountability, as we've been talking about. And so basically, Venett, this guy...
He wanted him to resign.
Yeah.
Could never be hired again.
Yeah,
in any
so
capacity.
they fired him. He can't get hired by anyone in the William Morris agency or whatever, WME.
Yep.
And they're changing their internal...
Yeah,
sexual
William Morris
conduct
has
as
to
well.
change a whole bunch of their internal policies and
Yes.
all of that, which
Yes.
if they get caught trying to sweep anything else under the rug, something that gets reported, it doesn't get thrown up the food chain or whatever, people within the company can be personally held liable for that now with the new ways that they're changing and all of that. So good for him. Like even his agent said, like they could have offered him $10 million and he wouldn't have took that. He would have just pushed forward to bring this case into the spotlight and that because he wanted accountability. He wanted consequences. He didn't want money.
That's what I like.
Yeah,
Because too many people are like, I want money. He's like, no, I want change. And this is how you start change.
Oh, absolutely. Because if he would have just settled this for a big, huge check and, well, they paid enough to be sorry, then, again, now you can question his motives. It undermines the whole thing and exactly that. But to bring the hammer down and to completely make money not a part of it is an absolute victory for Terry. Good for him.
Yeah, seriously. I think someone like that probably... they might have...
I've got balls of steel.
You must have
Careful
balls
there,
of steel to
careful
go
there,
through
John.
that. Oh,
You don't want to go from assuming to wanting to now check. And that's how we come full circle.
I'm trying to squeeze more of these in here in case nobody noticed.
Yeah, we're getting
try
some sound effects
let
in
me try
here.
to get a little
Poor
bit.
taste or not.
We're not worried about taste right now. We're good, though. We're good.
All right, moving on to the next crazy thing that happened in Hollywood this week. Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn took a big giant stand. And this whole situation, John, is a great example of how it happens. How they just cycle them back around and start working them back into stuff as favors from friends to friends.
Okay.
So, if you don't know the whole story, Olivia Munn found out that one of the bit role players in her new movie Predator, he got arrested and spent some jail time as a sexual predator. He's a registered sex offender. Apparently, he tried to solicit sex from a 14-year-old girl that just so happened to be a distant relative of his over the internet, and he got busted, luckily, before he actually became an offender. So, got a slap on the wrist, relatively speaking, because he wasn't able to consummate the actions, but clearly the intent and the complete lack of character is there.
Yes.
Now, you got Shane Black, who claims he didn't know the full details of what his friend did, but he knew that his friend was down on his luck and needed an opportunity, so he cast him in the movie, no questions asked. Then he tried to blame the studios. For there being some sort of policy
to not do background checks on actors.
The studios aren't allowed to do background checks on actors, which I know for a fact is bullshit. They do background checks on freaking extras that are coming on.
It was his friend. He was trying to give him a second chance. Now here's the issue.
You get them extra roles and all that. Now they're right back into the rotation.
Here's where I'm probably gonna crap down by all of you and everyone, because I'm gonna play the other side. Okay. Not that he's right. There's no justifying that. There's no justifying that whatsoever. But what I want to say is, I understand that Olivia Munn stood up, regardless of what it might do to her career, or might not, and she stood up for herself, and I think that's amazing. And it is amazing. My question is this. When someone does something wrong, maybe not specifically this, because this is a tough one.
I know where you're going with
underage. How do you get a second chance? If you do something wrong, I get it. You screwed up. You did a horrible thing. You go to jail. You serve your time. Whatever it is. I'm not saying this whole pedophilia, I'm just saying in general, because everyone's like, oh, you're an ex-con, you shouldn't be hired. Well, I paid my dues. Like, I went to jail. I feel like I'm better. I want to work harder. I want to actually try to succeed. And just because you have that label, if you screwed up once in your past, if it's constant, and it's like, dude, it's been 15 years of him doing this. Well, okay, I get it. But, like, when does somebody get a true second chance? Now, again, this situation, who's to say, it's a little... But... Does nobody believe in second chances anymore?
It's a great question. I think our producer off screen wants to chime in on this one.
I don't think it has to do with second chances. I think it has to do with the main talent not knowing who, as the only actor working across from him, who she was working with. Because as a main talent, you usually get a choice of, I'm not going to work with someone below me.
Okay.
And especially if it's an offender, and something who bothers her, a child sex offender.
Right. That's why I was saying.
That alone, she should be able to say in the casting
but
process.
That's why I was saying.
I don't want any. If it even happened, don't even bring them in. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna work with them even an hour on set. It makes me uncomfortable. I won't act.
Yes, I understand that, but let me ask you this, okay? If I robbed a bank and I was an ex-con, I went and I served my time. Now there's no there's no sexual anything. It's just I did a horrible crime. You're the lead actress in this movie. You don't work with ex-cons because you don't work with criminals.
See.
How can I not get a second chance? I don't understand.
The second chance has to be
a bank. I think you might rob my trailer. I think you might have buddies coming on to set. The
second chance.
I don't trust you.
The second chance needs to be a business decision. Whoever's at the top of that food chain needs to make that choice, and they got to be responsible for it.
Yeah.
So in the situation of the bank robber, fine. You did your time. You get a second chance. But if I'm a branch manager, I'm not going to fucking hire you to be a bank teller.
Right.
Like there's no way I'm putting you around money.
Right.
And same thing with like the guy who did Jeepers Creepers. This dude molested kids on set. So I don't care how much time you serve, whatever the hell the case is, you should not be allowed to be around children on set again.
I completely understand that.
But he has been. He's a filmmaker. It's his right to work. He gets to be on set again. So he makes Jeepers Creepers 3, and of course there's kids in that movie and all of that. But your offense, you should not be put back into that environment or that scenario. If you go and molest children, you're not suddenly allowed to be a teacher anymore.
Right, it's not you're going to be a clown all of a sudden, but I'm just saying, of course, that's why I knew that I might get ire from it, because I don't...
So here's where I mean this is a business decision.
Right.
So you're Shane Black or his producers or whatever, and you're casting this movie. Shane knows what the hell his friend did, and he's trying to get his friend a job or whatever in that situation. You're making a business decision to gamble your friendship is more important than the blowback you're going to get if it finds out.
Right.
Either that or you're completely tone deaf to the environment that we're in.
Yes.
It's pitchforks and torches time in Hollywood to find the scumbags and the predators and bring them down.
Yep.
You put one in your project knowingly, you're asking for blowback and drama. You're asking to sacrifice the ticket sales of that project. You're asking to put bad names and reputations on everybody else involved. Olivia Munn's like, I don't want to be attached to this. I can't feel good about going and promoting a movie that I know was used as a vehicle to get this guy back into the industry when he's a bad dude. Now that they cut him out and then edited out of all of that, and she took a stand, she feels more comfortable promoting this movie. But it's a perfect example of how you took that risk putting that person in there. You could have got anybody in the world to play this bullshit background one, but you threw a bone to a scumbag buddy of yours, and now you need to take the flack of what that indirectly says about you, and you need to take the blowback on the business when people find out.
So then, and that's a great point. It legitimately is a great point. I genuinely like it. You know, I'm a very open-minded person. So that being said, then if I'm Director Black, what's his name, Black? Shane Black, and I know my friend is a convicted sexual offender. Okay, hopefully never with children. I understand that's the situation in this job. It's ridiculous. I don't justify any of it. Do you, as a director, if you want to bring your friend on, then do you tell producer? Do you tell the cast beforehand, I'd like to bring this guy on?
If you absolutely are hell-bent on making this move, and for whatever reason in your heart you believe this person to be true to a better character than they were the day before, then the only way you can even broach that subject is day one standing up in front of the entire cast and crew saying, hey, this is so-and-so, I vouch for them. If you're on my project, you're my people. I'm going to protect you. This guy's made a mistake, and he's here. Right. I'm not trying to hide this from you guys. I'm not trying to slip him by. He's going to be on set 3 days worth of work. If anyone has a problem with this before his days of shooting, come to me and we can talk about it personally. And if you still remain a problem with it, then he's gone.
I think that's the way he should have handled it. And now, because I remember the article, it said his buddy had told him one thing, and then when Munn came out and it all just kind of came tumbling out, he's like, my friend disillusioned me, and he really kind of
that's even worse.
Away from his
That's
friends.
even worse, because you knew that he was a sex offender, but you took his word for whatever bad rap he got as a sex offender and brought him around your cast and crew and people and all of that, without even doing your own due diligence on this guy, knowing there was a red flag there, going back, checking on all of this information, who I'm going to bring around all my cast and crew, and getting the actual true whole story out of it, not just taking his word for it. That to me is so many levels of bad judgment and bad character, and
then you threw him under the bus.
Yeah. Oh, and you tried to throw the studio on the bus. Everyone else. That tells me 2 peas in a pod, John. 2 peas in a pod. One got caught. One hasn't yet.
I mean, that's a good point.
That's what you put on yourself by the way you chose to make these decisions and handle in the situation.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else to say on Olivia Munn and Predator?
No, I'm good.
The ironic Predator or the actual Predator? All right, moving on. Les Moonves. Man, just dropping like flies this week. Les Moonves finally got his. It took a second wave of accusations and all of that. So apparently, Ronan Farrow's first article that came out with some of the horrible things that Les Moonves did wasn't enough to put him down, because they were starting to feel like we were on the back end of the Me Too movement, so they could kind of ride this out and just minimize his public awareness and exposure and all of that. But we'll keep him there. And he said he was sorry and all of that. So they were just waiting for the dust to blow over.
Okay.
So apparently, what always happens is the first article broke the iceberg and the awareness of other women. They came out to reinforce that these women were telling the truth. So another 6 women came out, and here we go. So another 6 women came out, and Ronan wrote a follow-up article. Like, listen, he can say these are isolated incidents. We can write that up, blow it off. Well, now there's 6 more. You got to explain. So now all of a sudden the pressure's there, and finally they're moving him out, and he's stepping aside. Of course, he's going to get this golden parachute and all this happy horse shit.
Right.
The damage is already done. This dude's already at the back end of his reign of terror for the freaking 30 years or whatever. He's been at the top of the food chain preying on people. Probably longer than that.
I'm sure.
But and they're going to throw a token bone to the Me Too movement of $20 million. It's going to go to who? Nobody knows. For what? Nobody knows. But we're going to say we're going to do that so everyone feels better.
Oh, the world today. I mean, we have to find positivity, right? We can't always go to the negative because it's too easy to go to the negative. I can't put a positive twist on this, though.
It's a tough week in Hollywood for
I can't.
positive.
I know, it really is.
Terry got a W, but it still came with a negative story.
Of course. Some of these stories. It's really a darker week. I'm sorry. Les Moonves, I was never really invested. Didn't really know much about, to be completely honest. So when I saw that in the rundown, I wasn't 100%
Head
sure.
honcho of NBC. Or it might have been CBS.
Okay.
It was one of the two.
Same old bullshit, though, right?
Oh yeah, you know, the top executives doing whatever the hell they want,
Yeah.
forcing people to do whatever the hell they think they should do.
Finally gets caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyone that dares stands up to them has been retaliated against, has been slandered, has been pushed out the door, has been intimidated out of the industry. You know, like all you got to do is change the names. Like the actions and the crimes are all the same.
And that's where I'm curious. It's like when these things happen. And like Weinstein, okay, he can no longer be involved in Hollywood. He can no longer be involved anywhere, wherever he is. But is he really like no longer involved? Because he's got all these people he's worked with that are okay with him and what he did. So of course now that there's lots of
there will always be a filmmaker that will take his money.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, so as bad as he's gotten it, how bad has he really gotten it?
Yeah, and the nature of the entertainment industry. Like kind of what we're doing with Gratwick for good is the tools and resources exist to build your own vertically integrated system. And that's almost what the Weinstein Company was anyway. So there's no reason he can't do that in South Carolina or in Georgia or anywhere else that he wants to just disappear to and finance some small local movies and this, that, and the other thing. Because when he brings them to market, there's still going to be salespeople that are going to take his calls.
That's what I'm saying.
And all of that. And he can easily just not keep his name on, like put it on there and still make the money off of it.
Yeah.
It's like you can say he's persona non grata in Hollywood, but the industry is too ambiguous and fractured into its own entities that you can't keep anyone really out of it.
It's just because, I mean, you could do, I'm guilty of a crime. I have all of my cohorts with me, but they're not found guilty. So I'm found guilty. Hey, you guys will take care of me, right? Like I might go to jail for a little while, but I've got all this money, so I'll be okay in jail.
Absolutely.
And then when I get out, we can still do what we do. I'll just have a different name, or like you just said.
Dude, like Matt Lauer's been joking behind the scenes for months now that I'll be back on TV sooner or later. It's just a big vacation.
And he's probably right. That's the whole joke of it.
Oh yeah. As soon, and again, they are already thinking they're on the backside of riding this out.
This is still the front side, I think. Though, isn't it?
What's his name? Louis C.K. is back up on stage performing, making rape jokes in his first performance back on stage.
I didn't see the performance. Did he really make rape jokes?
Yeah. His first performance back on stage, he's joking about rape whistles.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah, and it's just... They think this is just a publicity strategy. Just lay low for a little while, let some time go by, and then reintroduce
they'll forget
yourself.
about it.
And like Tiger, we all want a great redemption story, and you'll be better than ever.
Yeah.
It's the age-old game, John. So speaking of people in Hollywood dropping like flies, the final Hollywood crazy wild week topic that we have. Is actual people that have dropped and passed away, John. Trying to find a little tack for it. But Burt Reynolds is down.
That's a tough one.
Mac Miller is, down as well. He OD'd.
That's not as tough for me as Burt.
Yeah.
Burt's a real toughie for me.
Well, I mean, he was old. Let's be honest.
Well, of course, I'm not saying I'm surprised, and I'm not even sad. I understand. It's like, I liked what he did, and as he got older, I really liked some of the roles he took on in his older age as well.
He was supposed to have a scene that he was shooting in Hollywood Nights or whatever the Charlie Manson title of the Charlie Manson movie that Quentin Tarantino's making.
Okay.
Yeah, Burt Reynolds was supposed to have a sweet cameo in there.
What a shame.
But he passed away before they shot his scenes. Jesse actually got to see and meet him just a couple weeks ago at a
Oh, really?
Yeah, at a convention. I think the convention was in Tennessee.
Good job, Jesse.
But yeah, he's got a picture with him, a couple other people.
Do you have the cowboy hat on?
And
Do you
sign
know?
it. No,
No?
he looked really old and frail in those pictures.
Yeah.
So because I was like, does Burt Reynolds really need to be doing conventions at like 82 years old? And a couple weeks later,
Who knows how he spent his money? Maybe he didn't have any money. He was just trying to get it, or maybe he was trying to get money because he knew he was going. Maybe leave one last something for his kids or grandkids. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I don't
what
know.
did he even die of? I didn't even see.
I think it was heart failure or something. It was just pretty much old age.
Okay, fair enough. And what about Mac Miller?
I'm not sure what his cocktail of choice was.
But it was OD.
But he's been fighting the drugs for quite a few years.
That'll do it.
He just broke up with Ariana Grande. She moved on to the dude from Saturday Night Live. So everybody's giving her a bunch of shit that it's her fault for breaking up with the dude.
Don't do that. I don't like her, but don't do that. That's not her fault. Stop doing it.
Like, how can you blame somebody for obviously seeing that there's an unhealthy situation here, and like, if you're not going to clean yourself up, I'm getting myself out of here.
Hey, well, here's a prime example from my past. Long time ago, a friend of mine, before I even met her, she told me this story after I met her, that she was going to break up with one of her boyfriends, and her boyfriend said, "If you leave me, I'm going to kill myself." And she left him, and he killed himself.
I would call that bluff so fast.
But she left, and then he killed himself. She felt guilty.
I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't lose a wink of sleep.
I'm like, it's not your fault. You couldn't. He's going to force you to stay with him. Or he's going to kill himself. That's ridiculous.
So, like, are you ever going to be happy with somebody that you know is only here because they're afraid to come home to a body?
And that's exactly. So that's my point. When you see something's wrong, just go ahead and just do what you're going to do. Don't wait for something to happen.
And if you're that fragile to actually go through and do with it,
Yeah.
there was something else that was going to make you do it anyway.
Sure.
Well, anything like that, and again, this goes back to the whole Madden thing. If you're that fragile that you're able to break in that way, it's just a matter of time until the trigger is found. There's enough bullshit that we all deal with in our day-to-day lives that the fragile people are gonna pop sooner or later. And there's so many of us, and there's so much bullshit. The odds and the percentages just say we're gonna continue to see more people pop.
And that's why I liked the movie Falling Down, even though we discussed it already. We don't have to go through it again, but I liked it because it was just an average guy, and he finally snaps aside just everything that was boom.
If I could remake a movie, or let's put it this way, if I had to remake a movie, because I'm totally against remaking movies.
Oh, thank you for that.
But if I had to remake a movie, that I would be open to it to that one. Oh
Okay,
yeah.
then let me ask you this, since we're already discussing this: who would you cast as the main character? Do you have an idea, like an actor you like?
Just out of the blue off the top of my head. No,
no one's gonna hold you to it. It's just something.
No, there'd be some.
Would it be somebody an older guy, like similar to Douglas was, like that age group, or could it be somebody younger? Because it's modern now, right? So it could be a young guy who snaps.
If you're gonna do with the Hollywood pandering, you'd have to go with a female that snaps to hit the other gender.
An ethnic female as well.
Well, you can't. No, because then if you do a African American woman, now you're going to be accused of pandering to the angry black woman stereotype if she's out there kicking ass.
So you're always going to be accused of something.
No matter which way you go on that, you're gonna. So you just got to cast the right person, as far as I'm concerned, and
it needs to be an Amish woman.
There you go. Sounds good.
It appeals to everyone.
Someone doesn't shave their armpit.
Wasn't there a Harrison Ford? Witness? Isn't that what it was? Witness? Harrison Ford
Was it?
is about
that's where he went to hide.
Is an Amish person commits a rape or something like that?
No, the Amish person saw
a bathroom at an airport.
Saw who did it.
Yeah.
And he was an Amish boy, so he had to protect him.
Witness. Harrison Ford back in the day.
It wasn't an Amish person.
I think that was
based on. I
think it was based on an old TV show too, as well.
Probably.
He was Frank Kimball, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Anyway,
it is time for our second commercial break. When we come back, we're going to start with a new section called Discord Questions. What that means is we've got a Discord community. It's freaking awesome. It's actually where the real party is. Andrew's got little games and stuff that she hosts every single week. And we're always asking for feedback, questions about what's going on. And people have a chance to help us create the show each week. So if you want to join our Discord, in between the video in the description box, on all of our Facebook pages, all over the place, we've got our Discord link. Join it, jump in, throw some questions out. Maybe next week we can have your questions on the show. Andrea, hit us with the commercial, and we're going to get ready.
to the next segment, right? We're going to do the Discord questions. I actually am going to try a new thing to get us into the Discord questions.
Is it a sneeze soundbite?
No, let's see what it sounds like.
Discord question.
Discord questions.
All right, Andrea, what do we got? First question.
First question. If not Gratwick, what do you think you would be doing with your life?
Do we have a shout out for who asked the question?
That would be Miss Misery and Mayhem.
Misery and Mayhem
Miss Misery and
asks,
Mayhem, thank you.
if it was not for building Gratwick, what do you think you would be doing? That is an amazing question because honestly, I don't think there's anything else I would be doing. I'd probably be a crazy person under the bridge, throwing rocks at people, trying to start a revolution with the homeless people. I didn't fit in the 9-to-5 world. I'm not very good working dead-end jobs or bosses and all that type of stuff. I think I'd go crazy if I had to go back to that. So it's pretty much all in for me. That's been since I chose this road. I removed the safety net, and one way or the other, I'm going to just keep going forward. So there's nothing else. If I had my choice, it would be a football player. It would be a quarterback. That was my first love.
Would you still be playing that now? Because you would have to be playing it now. And I don't think there are very many just turned 40-year-olds who are out there playing football for the first time.
Tom Brady's 43.
Brett Favre
played to 42. I would still be playing, yes. Yeah, if I had made it, I would absolutely still be playing.
If your shoulder hadn't...
Whoa,
Oh,
really?
Dude, if I was still playing...
Dude, how many people are 40 still playing? You got like 5
Because here's
people.
why. Because here's why. If I played from 22 to 40 the past 18 years,
Sure.
that would have been right in Brady's wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So me, Brady, Breeze, we'd all have this rivalry going on. I'm not being the first man walking away from that. No way. Brady's going down first.
So you're saying that you wouldn't have been injured, nothing would have happened, and you'd have been longevity would have lasted.
I'm saying that Brady would have half as many Super Bowl appearances
Oh my
as he
gosh.
has, and we'd have quite the rivalry going. It'd be the Manning, Brady, Hulbert era, and I would have had a couple nice tosses with Favre back in the day. Oh, I probably would have started as his backup like Hasselbeck, and then eventually soared into my own my own legacy.
I love your confidence. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's ridiculous, but I love it. I love to hear it.
I was a really good quarterback.
Well, I mean, maybe you were. And I couldn't speak that. I wouldn't know.
Damn, freaking backyard football.
Myself, I actually am enjoying, obviously, Gratwick and Gratcast and everything that's going on here. I'm also looking to do other things as well. This is not the only thing I want to do, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, I tell you guys all the time. So to say it again, it's just me spinning my wheels. I'll say it one more time for everyone else, but then I'm not going to keep repeating it because if it doesn't happen as soon as I'd like it, or I don't go as quickly as I'd like, I look bad. Wouldn't mind trying some stand-up. I've told you countless times for years,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm putting it on. Hey, I'm putting it on the podcast now.
Yeah.
A little more self-pressure. I need to do this. So when I watch this back, I'm going to be looking me in the eyes.
I will soft commit
I'm looking you in the eye.
to most likely
You see that?
going up on stage if you go up on stage.
If I can get a Wednesday, I've already got the perfect thing. Remember I told you about it.
Most likely.
It's you reach in the hat, you pull out a subject, and then you can go. It helps you so you don't have to struggle with what you're looking to do. You don't have to do that. You can just...
See, my problem is
you can just riff.
If I'm going to do it, I want to be great at it right out the gate.
Oh.
And if I can't hit the
That's an
beats,
ego
if I can't
thing
make
there.
it funny,
Oh.
because I know that like the material I have would be good enough to be that good. So if it's not, it's because of me. I'm not delivering it right. I'm not doing it.
But then
and
your
all that.
first time on stage, you can't expect to be everyone laughing, gut busting. It's
Yeah,
your
but if the
first time
material's
on
good enough to
stage.
make people laugh, all you got to do is deliver it.
Well, then practice it. Practice it.
I
So I'd
got
like to
time.
do that. I'd like to do voiceovers. You know who I get? In fact, anyone who's watching, I beg you to tell me who you think I sound like. I'm not even going to tell you. I get a certain person who I sound like all the time.
Oh boy.
From at work, in the Ubers. I told you who people who say I sound like. You're like a little bit. So if there's somebody you think I sound like, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments below or in Discord or wherever. I'm very curious to see.
I want to
who
see
you
the
are.
list of suggestions and names people come up with for next week.
Yeah, like this is my normal voice. Like I can change, but this is where I'm at.
I
So
think
this is the voice I'm saying.
I think Andrea got her crossover topic for the Discord chat this week.
I figure that might help a little bit as well.
Yeah.
It's a good question to ask because I'm curious. I've gotten multiple voices, but one recently I've gotten over and over
All right.
and over.
Next question.
Let's go.
Next question from Snake.
Snake.
He's noticed
It's
that
not
there's
Pliskin,
not
I
enough new
asked.
artists coming into the market in most production studios. So, do you think that there should be a ratio enforced that all production studios have to utilize new and upcoming talent versus just established professional talent? Also,
Holy shit! Can we one question at a
question.
time?
oh, okay.
Snake asks if there should be some sort of quota for new talent to get opportunities coming up. And to that, I say absolutely not. Hell no, man. Come on, free market. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But this is where I had my beef with the writing programs and all of that.
Yep.
Because they were diversifying their competitions to just being the best of this little segment versus the best writer. You can't judge by anything other than the work.
Yeah.
You can't judge by anything other than the story, the talent, all of that, man.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the fact that a lot of bigger companies take into factor where they can sell the show before it's even made? They want to cast certain people, and they don't even want to look at possibly better talent because they aren't bankable in the way they're used to saying. Shouldn't that force them to bring new blood into it?
Well, that's like saying, should a corporation in New York City be forced to hire an inferior chief financial officer because they're too good at what they do financially, that they need to give somebody else an opportunity to learn the ropes?
Who says they're inferior? Just because you're not from New York or LA doesn't mean you're inferior when you're coming into the talent pool, even though that's the way casting
You're
treats
inferior
you.
by the
You
lack
might
of
have been the
experience
top person in
automatically.
Chicago, but that's Chicago, so they don't think about it the same way. You're not inferior.
I think the terminology
to
is just-
A-list
that's
talent
the
here.
word
You
that she's
can
holding
read just as well in an audition, but they go, oh, but no one knows that person.
But the
so
boxes,
can't
you are
sell
inferior
beforehand.
based on the boxes you can check off for the business bottom line.
Okay.
That's the problem. You can't tell somebody that they have to diminish the value of their product to facilitate your need for an opportunity. That gets into Atlas Shrugged territory, man.
All right.
Can't regulate the competition because we can't beat them. That, like, as a Bills fan, that's like me saying, well, shit, we can't beat the Patriots, so whenever the Patriots play the Bills, they're not allowed to use Tom Brady, so it's a fair fight. Then when you win, you're still going to know that, like, great, but we didn't use Tom Brady, and you guys are pieces of shit for asking us to not use Tom Brady because we're beating you so bad.
Well, Snake has a follow-up question.
Follow-up question.
Do you think that the professional actors are biased to working with other professional actors and not really wanting to work with new and up-and-coming actors?
I think professional actors are the same as anyone working in a team success environment where you're going to be judged on the product based on the quality of how the team was. So if you're surrounded by inferior talent or inexperienced talent or somebody that doesn't know what the hell they're doing, that's going to limit your ability as an actor to play off of them. Mm-hmm. So I feel like every experienced actor is naturally worried and concerned about that going in, but like they're probably just as hopeful as anybody else that you're going to impress them and give them something to work off of and relinquish those fears for them. But yeah, like I'll bring it back to football. If I'm a veteran quarterback and it's opening day and we're going out there with the rookie left tackle we just drafted, I know that I'm going to be a little more gun shy and nervous and watching my six than I typically would be if it was a 10-year veteran over there that's gone to the last 4 Pro Bowls. I also know I can take more chances in the pocket if I've got that veteran looking over my back. So as an actor, you can take more chances with your character if you know you've got another professional, talented actor to play off of.
This is true, but if you have a young, talented professional who's not as proven or established, but still has that raw talent and can bring that out of you, and you can work together, then you're okay with that, though.
Well, as soon as they prove that it exists, but going in, I would absolutely have my concerns. Is this person going to make me look bad simply because they're not in my league?
I think that's. Okay, you ended it a little strange, but I think the idea is that you would have little reservations because you haven't worked with them before. You don't know what they can do. So you're like, well, how can I do what I would do with someone who's clearly got an Academy Award and this is your first day ever acting?
It's the old adage, John. It's hard to soar with the eagles when you're surrounded by turkeys.
Does it? Leave in the comments below. Has anyone heard that phrase? I've actually
Absolutely, man.
I've never heard that.
Absolutely.
I've never heard that phrase ever.
All right, Andrea, do we have any more Discord
No,
questions?
you're saying that it's hard to what?
It's hard to soar with the Eagles when you're surrounded by turkeys.
Right? Because turkeys can't fly. Like, I get the joke. I'm just
So,
saying I've never heard
do we have any more Discord questions?
Nope.
Okay, so moving on. Payday. Every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, they run free Fortnite tournaments with a $100 prize pool. Tuesdays are Xbox days. Thursdays are PlayStation days, and these are 2 versus 2 tournaments. So it's duos. So John and I are going to enter into the September 20th Thursday PlayStation tournament as a duo, a team. John's the shooter, I'm the hider. You take out our team, we're going to have prizes for you. We're going to put bounties on our head, and we're going to get in these tournaments. So hopefully you guys will join us in the Fortnite tournaments with Payday and get signed up with them. If not, well, we're going to shoot somebody else.
As well as another potential joy of joining these tournaments to take us out is if you win tournaments, whether you take us out or not, you're still going to get prizes, and you're still going to win, and you can join for, free? They're free tournaments, and you can win actual money, real money, just for joining for free and playing. So, you got to win, but you can't win if you don't play.
So Payday has a bunch of free tournaments with real prize money and real prizes and stuff that anyone can play in and win. And then they have monthly subscriptions that allow you to play in bigger prize pool tournaments and all of that that are just subscriber-based tournaments. And that's where you can win the real bucks, John. All right,
forward to it.
We're going to get into our bullet blitzes, John. We've got time for 2 each this week. And I'm going to throw you under the bus first. What do you got, John?
Okay, so I cannot believe I have this because I'm completely unprepared.
Did you do the sound effect?
Sorry.
There we
When you
go.
threw me under the bus first, I got lost. So here we are. I'm at work the other day. Of course, you're going to hear a lot of my stories at work because unfortunately I work a lot. So I'm at work. Nothing to do. Very slow restaurant. So we're kind of goofing around, looking on the internet, and someone had mentioned that they liked the Liger, right? Ha ha ha. The movie is Napoleon Dynamite. Half lion, half tiger, right? They exist. People showed me photos, and they're like as tall as ponies or horses. They're like huge.
Is this another example of you answering your question before you asked
Damn
the
it!
question?
I did do it again. I'm so sorry. I was so excited about the Liger though. Like, did you know Here's the question: did you know Ligers actually existed?
No. If you would ask me what a liger is, I wouldn't have known that either. But like, they continue to find out every single day that stuff in prehistoric books is accurate. They are now convinced
The dinosaurs have feathers.
that Planet X exists, John.
Who's they? Oh, the scientific
Scientists, the astronomers, all of that say there is now like 5 different measurements and things that each one creates its own problem conundrum that cannot be explained if Planet X doesn't exist, but all 5 of them can be explained and answered and make perfect sense if this planet that has been speculated for eons and centuries actually does exist.
That's what do you think about that? I know you've always been a eyes in the sky sort of guy. I mean, feet on the ground, but eyes in the sky. So I'm kind of curious where your head's at.
I think there's not enough scientific consideration to some sort of interpretations of what the ancient texts and all of that say. I'm not saying that you should go into blind religion and believe the stories that are in there, but I'm saying that these stories are based on some sort of circumstances that actually happened, and they can be used as clues for scientific discoveries. It's proven time and time again.
I mean, okay, I'm certainly down. I'm certainly down. I do apologize about my bullet blitz. I told you when you threw me under the bus, you told me I wasn't even prepared.
All right, John.
It happens. You got something coming?
I got something coming. So, if you're gonna go see your favorite team play in the upcoming season,
yes,
and you're getting ready to buy tickets, and let's say you can only buy tickets to later on in the season. Do you hold off on buying those tickets to see how the team does in the lead up to then? Or do you buy those tickets when you can and know that for better or worse, you're going to see the team play?
Number 2, I always, if I'm going to go see even if they're losing, then because normally when I go and I see a team, on my team sports, I like all the teams. I mean, I prefer my team, but I like the sport, and I can appreciate the sport. So when I watch the sport, even if my team's doing badly, but the other team's dominating, of course I'm angry that my team's not doing well, but I can also respect. It was like back in the day when the Red Wings would play the Oilers, when Wayne Gretzky and they had the super team. I hated it. We lost every game, but they were so fun to watch. So I would buy the ticket and just deal with whether we were winning or losing and just go and see the team because it's just a fun experience.
The inspiration for this question is we did buy tickets to go see.
You did actually buy them.
The Jags at the Bills for the weekend after Thanksgiving back in Buffalo.
Okay.
And as far as I can tell, I don't think they're going to have a win by that point in time.
Really?
It's going to be a bad season, John. It is going to be a bad season. I'm actually going to attribute my next bullet blitz to how bad of a season it's going to be. So you're up next.
All right. Well, again, it's work related. I meet these people at work. Okay, they're very nice people, but they're very foreign. Okay.
Are you talking about the customers?
Yes,
or
a
your fellow
guest.
employees?
No, a guest. Guest in the restaurant. Guest because I'm a server. Guest in the restaurant. Very nice people. Very super kind. We have a great rapport, a great conversation. Everything's going well. And then I hear, "Oh, you're the best server we've ever had. Ever. Anywhere." And I'm like, normally I'd be like, "Wow, that's incredible." And then I find out that they don't tip when they walk out. So it's the verbal tip. So my question to you is, have you ever been in a situation where you felt was going one way, and then at the end of the situation, it actually went the complete other way?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, this happens all the time.
There you go.
I'm horrendous at communications. So
Not you.
usually I know it's going to go the other way, and I'm going hoping it's going to go this way, and fully prepared for it to go the other way, and everybody else is caught off guard when it inevitably goes the other way. Now, for a specific example that I could provide,
Yes.
we're blowing farts in the wind on this one. I got absolutely nothing right now. This is why we're supposed to share these questions ahead of time, John, and be better prepared.
Yes.
No, I got nothing. I mean, if I had to absolutely put a gun to my head and pull something out of my ass,
Do it.
I would say I would harken back to last week's episode when we were talking about past jobs, and when my boss called me into the back office at Blockbuster. I thought for sure he was like, "We going back to the casino tonight?" And instead, he was firing me while reigning employee of the month. So that definitely didn't go how I thought it was going to.
Oh, so then did you feel like Dwayne Casey in the basketball world? He was voted coach of the year, and the Raptors fired him, and then he signed with another team, something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that, except on a minimum wage level.
Oh, obviously. Okay, well, I mean, that's interesting. I know you weren't really ready for it, but at least you had something. All right, let's. You got a last one, yeah?
Yes, I do, John. Okay. If you drafted a quote-unquote franchise quarterback in the top 10, and the following season you had a top 3 pick, and a can't-miss franchise quarterback is on the board, what would you do?
I mean, the situation is very difficult because you just drafted one, the last draft, in the top 10. Not even like in the last half of the first round. The top 10, that's supposed to be your quarterback of the future. You're supposed to give him full reign at some point and let him go and see what he can do. Now, this is what I suggest to you, because obviously I know what he's referencing. I say you run with Allen the rest of the season, for better or worse. You let him go. And by the end of the season, you make a true assessment of where he's gone in the whole season, because if he pulls a Mitchell Trubisky
John.
or a Jared Goff...
True Bills fashion, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. Allen's going to come in. He's going to look good a game or two. He's going to look bad a game or two. And then he's going to get hurt, and he's going to be unable to play the rest of the season. And we're not going to be really sure.
So how can you analyze him when you don't have enough footage?
We're not going to really be sure what we have in him still. So we're going to be in that wishy-washy in-between era. So as far as I'm concerned, I think you got to draft that guy. And at best, you got a 50-50 chance to have a franchise quarterback. At worst, if they both work out, then you move one of them and you have a Breeze Rivers situation on your hands.
I mean, I certainly think that's what it is. But so say you draft that second quarterback who's a can't miss, and then he's a miss. Now you have 2 quarterbacks you're really just kind of struggling with, and you burned them both in the top. You know what I'm saying? Say you miss a pick. It does happen.
I guarantee you that the Redskins are happy as pigs in shit that they drafted Kirk Cousins in the same draft that they sold the farm to get Robert Griffin.
Robert III. Yeah, that's a good point.
Just keep picking them until you got one.
That's a good point. Hey, that's what I do. That's what I did in the Madden.
That's what you got to do.
I picked one in the first round and one in the second round. I even went higher than that. But I would still. I mean, I guess I have to agree with you. You're not sure what you got. You got the number one pick. That next season, when one's a rookie and one's a second year, you'd let them play against each other, see who sorts it out, and then maybe by the trade deadline of that season, you let the other one go and you trade him to get something. You're never going to get that first round pick back, but
yeah, well,
that's a tough one. That's a tough call, man.
It's that time of day, John, where we get to play my favorite song.
It is?
It absolutely is.
Well, I just want to play this just because I didn't find a place to put it, so I'm just going to.
Fine, John.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
No, you just found the appropriate place to put it, John. Shame, shame, shame.
On me. Shame on me.
That is the end of Gratcast. Next week, we're going to get into some more shit. We're going to talk about the Fortnite tournament that we're going to participate in. The laundry's done. The show's over. Let's wrap this shit up and...
Let's get out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
We got to work better with our cues here,
Shit,
man.
I'm
And
out.
tie right
No
into everything.
thanks, don't mind me.
I am
I'll
still
just grab
speaking.
my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No. Fuck
Nope.
this shit, I'm out. All right then.
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.